Back. In this video, I'm going to be doing an expanded tutorial of the FSEconomy client. This is going to be the Simconnect version. This is trailing off of my video, which has explained how to install the Simconnect P3D and FSX client for FSEconomy. And following this video, I will do a short demonstration video showing how to fly a FSEconomy flight from wheels up to wheels down. So we'll start with the upper right here, explaining each function of this client. In the upper right, you see my username, my cash balance, and a pretty important box which some people may not understand. Hours flown, as you can see, 12.89 in the last 48. Now what that means is this left number here is the in-sim hours, which can be time compressed per FSEconomy rules. However, the rule that they've put in place is that you are limited to 30, if I remember correctly, in-sim hours in a 48-hour period real time. The reason for that is to keep players who don't want to use time compression on a fair playing ground to an extent for those players that do use time compression, which is probably the majority. Just below that, a log out button to log you out of the Simconnect client here, FSEconomy client. To the right, there's a shortcut box and a little pilot activity map and the Zulu time at the bottom. Now we'll look at the page we're looking at now, which is the home page. And we're going to work our way from left to right. So under home, the first tab takes us back home. Change preferences and passwords are two things I'm not going to hop into. Data feeds as well, just because I don't want to give away information on my account, but you can explore those. Pretty self-explanatory. On your data feeds, you can actually get your FSEconomy ID, which you may need to lease aircraft or do some other functions. Statistics, of course, you can look at your own, look up all pilots in FSEconomy and look at their individual statistics, and you can also look at groups. Aircraft models is an important tab. We'll open that up. So let's say we are considering buying the A2A Simulations Piper 250. So we're just going to search Piper, actually I think it's PA28 in here. Actually what we'll do is we'll just put A2A and see what we get. There you go. Now you can see the PA24 Comanche A2A pops up. Now this is important because if you want to buy an aircraft, you want to make sure you know how to verify that it's in FSEconomy and that it can be flown. So now that we've looked up the model, we're going to hit request aliases. That'll expand a list below that showing all the recognized aircraft for FSEconomy by liveries, and you'll see that here we have the A2A Simulations Piper, so we know that that is an aircraft that is compatible. So that's a pretty important place to remember. Now under aircraft models, we have FSE forums, so just a little hot link there. So now we're going to go to the all too important airports tab. So under airports, there's a number of functions we can do. We can look up an airport by an identifier. In this case, we're going to go to Kilo Golf Mike Uniform, which is Greenville downtown, South Carolina, an airport I flew out of a lot over the last few years. We're going to go back to the airports menu. So that's the way we can look up an airport by an identifier. Sorry, got to go back to the bottom. Once you've looked up an airport, you'll have to go to the bottom to get back to your search box. We can also look up by aircraft registration. So let's look up 904 Foxtrot Alpha, which is a plane I own within our group. Find out where she's at. And we can see that that airplane is currently at a not sure how to say, I don't know. They've probably got some Cajun way to say it, but it's in Louisiana. Yeah, we can see there's my plane. We'll go back down to the search box. By name or city, let's just try Greenville. See what that pulls up. There's a million Greenvilles in the USA. And in Liberia, apparently. So we can also go by aircraft. So let's look up the Antonov AN2. And we'll select rentable. We can see that that will show airports that have multiple criteria, in this case by accident, Greenville, and that it has an Antonov, but none of those fit that. So let's just try the Antonov AN2. And we'll see there's a whole bunch of countries with that awesome plane. Alright, so let's clear those boxes. And we'll go down to airports that have, let's say, aircraft for sale. And again, a huge list. And finally, this one's pretty handy. We can do aircraft that are within 100 nautical miles of, again, we'll do Kilo Golf Mike uniform. This is good for route planning. Now we'll look at all the airports. Many of these I've been to. Macon County is one that jumps out at me. All within 100 nautical of Greenville downtown. I know Donaldson Center must be on here. Just out of curiosity. Oh well, we'll mess with that later. Anyway. And then finally, airports that sell building material supplies, low lead fuel or Jet A fuel, minimum amount. So all very helpful functions. So that covers our airport tab. Now once you find the airport that you want, we'll go by the ICAO. You then can click on these assignments here and select them as needed. And once you find the assignments you like, just add those selected assignments to either your flight or your company. When we're going to go to that in the next tab. So working away from airports to the right, we'll look under our My Flight tab. This is showing all the assignments that you have in your holding area and in your loading area. Now the distinction between these two is you will be able to reserve up to 60 assignments in your holding area, but your loading area is the assignments that are going to be loaded on your aircraft in your next flight. And down here is the aircraft that you have rented, which I have a Dash 8 rented right now. So this is important to know, but we're going to cover that more in depth in the next video. Okay, to the right of that we have our logs. So we can look at my logbook here. I think it details every flight that I've ever flown in FSE. Seems about right. I think that was about when I started, and I think my first flight was in a Twin Otter. Okay, and we can look at logs for both ourselves or our company here. You can see our recent activity. And we have payment logs, both for myself and for my company. Okay, to the right of that we have aircraft. Now if you owned aircraft, it would populate in here, but all my aircraft are sent to the company, so we'll go to Falcon Air. And you can see our aircraft and some various information about them. And then purchase aircraft. So let's say that we wanted to buy a Dash 8 Q400 in my wildest dreams. We can select that aircraft and we have price ranges. So let's put $500 to $10 million and hit go. And there you go. 2 Dash 8s for sale. Way out of my price range, unfortunately. We got banking here. This is going to give you the option to withdraw and deposit money both into your account and your company's account, should you be with one. You also can transfer money to another player. So in this case, we'll send it to somebody I know. So let's put his name. And you'll see that it fills out with options on our drop down for all players. And you select your account, and I'll put $60 and send that. You can put a comment there as a memo. So that just sent the money over there to my buddy Renderman. I'm sure he'll be stoked about getting that big old paycheck. Pretty self-explanatory. Sorry about that technical difficulty. Headphones went dead. You got your payment logs, your monthly statement. To the right we have groups. This will show what group you are a part of. I think you can be parts of multiple groups. You can go my groups, all groups. You can go assignments, and it'll expand out to your company and see all the assignments your company has for you. Pay group, if you want to send money to a group. This is how you do it. And then finally memberships, which I believe will populate a list of everybody inside your group. There we go. Okay. And then we have our goods tab. This will show what goods you own. I don't own any right now. And then transfer assignments for your company, which will show the pending assignments that your company has to move goods. You can also go under goods and look under what your company's assets are. The FBO tab gives you the option to look at owned FBOs by your company or yourself. If you click here, FBO management will give you the option to do various management activities for your FBO, order supplies and fuel. Facilities, again, will Harry Russian women. We'll show the facilities here and some various information and commodities at those facilities. FBO maps. This is something I haven't messed with very much. Looks like you can search for FBOs. Let's see what that does. There you go. And it'll show the FBOs on the actual airport. That is pretty cool. Hey, GMU. I recognize that. And then finally, purchase FBO. You can look by price and search around for various FBOs to buy all over the place. I've been keeping my eye on Melody Ranch, Jackson, Wyoming, because it's so close to Jackson Hole, but there's really nothing to that FBO. And then finally, we have Site Map, which is going to give you hot links to every part of the site that we just went through, basically. Finally, before we end this video detailing our FSEconomy client for Simconnect, we'll go over the top 3 tabs. The first one we just went through is our planning tab, which will be really useful for the actual planning stage and other account functions. The information tab, when you're at an airport or renting an aircraft, it'll give you aircraft information, other aircraft at that airport, and then other airports in the area. And then finally, flight. When you start a flight using your action button up here, once you're ready to roll, and we'll cover that in the next flight, you'll get some information here verifying that your flight is ready to roll. Then finally, the file tab gives us config, which allows us to log in. Simulator, which is going to give you the all too important local computer button, which you'll need to check in most scenarios. And then settings to show a dialog when the flight is finished, which I think is a good thing to do. And then about will show the current version. And of course, exit. We should all know what that does. So that pretty much covers all functions of the FSEconomy Simconnect client here. And like I said, the next video is going to kind of be a beginning to end, wheels up to wheels down tutorial on doing FSEconomy flight. Thanks for watching.